Again, this is Brent Allen Winters, commonlawyer.com, www.commonlawyer.com. As I said, did I say this? Well, I want to say it again, coming at you from the remote hinterlands of the Wabash River Valley, where the hogs, the frogs, and the dogs keep up a racket all night long. We're going to go through a little bit, Miss Francine. Stansbury's Catechism on the Constitution of the United States, Arthur J. Stansbury, published 1828, the same year that Noah Webster published his 1828 dictionary to the English tongue, in an attempt to establish a dialect of English that has for the meanings of the words and the concepts what the Bible says they are. That's what Noah Webster's reason for that 1828 dictionary was. Isn't that fascinating? What's the number, Miss Francine? 78?
Yes, I believe you put a little dot next to 78.
Well, thank you. I'd forgotten I did that. That's an excellent idea. I'm glad you thought of that. Whoever thought of it, I can't remember. I think maybe you did. Oh,
no, you thought of it.
Okay, a dot. Yeah, dots can be meaningful if you remember you put them there. 78, Catechism. Catechism, that means questions and answers that the student learns. We're going to do that. Here's the question. You said that the clerk of the House of Representatives keeps a written journal of all that is done in that house. Is a journal kept in like manner by the Secretary of the Senate? Yes. Answer, yes. A journal is kept. Question number 79 out of 333 questions. Are these journals published, that is, printed and sold? Answer, yes. Excepting such parts as either House of Congress may think proper to keep secret for a time when the public good requires it. Remember, what goes on in the Congress of the United States is only public knowledge if the Congress of the United States, the House or the Senate, wants it to be. I've spent untold hours sitting in the chamber of the House of Representatives of the United States. But if they wanted to come and kick me out, they could have done it. Why? That's their house. They're a separate and co-equal branch of government. The President of the United States doesn't come in there unless they invite him. And when they tell him to get his carcass out, he has to. Same thing with the Supreme Court Justice of the United States. The President has that power about his office too, by the way. He gets to declare what is secret, what is top secret, and he gets to undeclare it. He is absolute in his authority over what is secret information and top secret information. If he wants to put it in a box and take it to his home in Mar-a-Lago, how do you say that place down there in Florida, Mar-a-Lago? However it is, that fancy place that DJ's got down in Florida. If he wants to do that, that's lawful. I am shocked and amazed at the hatred of law that folk in government have, left and right. It's insane. I don't care. DJ Trump's not running this country. The Congress is not running this country. Who's running the country? Law. Law is sovereign in America. Law. We are a nation of law, not of men. A nation of law, not of men. Can we get that? We don't depend upon men. We depend upon law. What is law? It is the will of the sovereign. Who's the sovereign? I'll give you 3 guesses. The first 2 don't count. The author of the laws of nature, our common law, and the laws of nature's God, our Bible. I'm quoting William Blackstone. I'm quoting in concept Chief Justice Earl Warren of the United States Supreme Court. I'm quoting in concept Justice Joseph Story of the United States Supreme Court, and a myriad of others in high places in our country that have recognized this. Them saying it don't make it true. That's not the point. I'm just saying I'm in good company. Other people have said the same thing. We're not a government of men. They're not the ones that says what's true and what isn't true unless they're able to observe the laws of nature and the Bible, our common law tradition. And the Bible and the laws of nature are our common law tradition. According to Justice Joseph Story, according to Chief Justice Earl Warren, and again, a myriad of others that are lesser known, but just as important and just as observant and intelligent. Are these journals of the Congress, the two houses of Congress, published? Yes, I said that. Number 80. Do Congress, well, let's stop right there. Do Congress ever sit in secret? Why doesn't he say, does Congress ever sit in secret? Now, some of you grammar Nazis out there would notice that this might grate on your ears a little bit. Do Congress ever sit in secret? Is that good English? What about this one? Do the jury ever sit in secret? Is that proper English? And the answer is yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because the jury and Congress are bodies, according to the Bible, our bodies are to be bodies of men, gray-bearded, by the way. That's my job on this presentation, these presentations, to tell you what the laws of nature and the laws of nature's God say. It's not my job to always, it's not my job to convince you of the truth of them. It's my job to say it as clearly as I can so that you would be convinced if the Spirit of God illuminates your mind. But I can tell you, and I try to focus on the things I know about the laws of nature, unwritten in the nature of creation, and the laws of nature's God written in the Bible. Sure. But the gray-bearded men, beard. I know I've known some women. No, I've never known a woman that's had a beard. Not that. I was thinking of something else. Gray-bearded men, the Hebrew word of the Old Testament and the Greek word of the New Testament, presbytos. We got a word Presbyterian from that, means gray-bearded men. Bearded. Well, that nails it down pretty good. But of course, that's what our common law tradition has always said too, the gray-bearded men. The Witan. What's the Witan? That's the forerunner to the Parliament of Britain. What's the Congress? What's the Parliament of Britain? The Parliament of Britain is the forerunner to the Congress of the United States, and even organized the same in two houses, upper and lower. Where'd that all come from? Came from the Wittengemot that existed in England before the Norman invasion of the year 1066. They called it Parliament after that because the people that invaded were Norwegians that had settled and conquered almost half of France on the west side. And while they were there for about 165 years, they picked up the French tongue, and they spoke a bastardized version of the French tongue. So they spoke French. And Parliament, I mean, it's a place where you parlay. You discuss. Parlay. And that's how so many French words got into our English tongue, especially in our common law tradition, because nothing else was allowed to be spoken after that for a couple hundred years. And so our common law concepts got encased in what's called Norman French, the Norwegians that spoke French. History, a page, listen, I'm quoting. He who never quotes is never quoted. I'm quoting Supreme Court Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes. He was a weirdo in a lot of ways, but he knew a lot of stuff, and he said some things that were very true. And one thing that he said once was, a page of history can be worth volumes of logic. A page of history can be worth volumes of logic. What does that mean? Let me break that down a little bit. A page of history will give you what is history? It's fact. That's what it is. Just fact, not logic, just fact. A page of history is worth volumes Actually, it's worth more. This is not a true statement in this sense. He brings up the point, but it's worth more than volumes of logic. Logic doesn't amount to pinch of nothing if you got the wrong facts. Facts are number one, and you don't have to worry about logic. Horses born to run, birds born to fly, beasts of prey born to ferocity. Men are born, they're different. To what? Think. Think. You do that naturally, like a horse runs, a bird flies, and a carnivorous critter chows down on animals. Boy, do they chow down. Wolves. Oh, you got to watch those coyotes. They'll lure your dog off. They'll bait them. They'll send one coyote out, and he'll yap. And here come the dogs chasing him. Oh, and then he'll run off. Then he'll run back and yap. Then he'll run off. And every time he does that, the dog get a little closer, little closer, little closer. And then the coyotes are moving around like this. And then they spring the trap and kill them. I mean, they'll kill big dogs. They're tough. They're wily. They don't call them wily for nothing. By the way, in the winterized version of the Bible, knowing the coyote a little bit, having observed them for many years, having watched how they kill and how they lure and bait and organize, I translate, when Satan comes up in the Bible, I translate that word in the Old Testament and the equivalent word in the New Testament, wily betrayer. Wily. Wily. Oh, he's wily. But here's the significant thing that I try to bring out with that. The devil is wily in this way. And his useful idiots, people, men, women, are the same way. They don't really have much of a plan. They scheme and then they react. I've watched it all my life. I've watched evil men do this. They scheme, oh yeah, they think they're planning, and then they react and do something stupid, but they keep going. That's the way coyotes are. Coyotes don't think much. Obviously, they're a brute beast. They operate on instinct, like a dog. A very sophisticated instinct, yes, make you think that they can do arithmetic and their algebra, but they can't. Oh, their instinct is beyond what you can fathom. You can talk to your dogs, tell them what to do in detail. They'll get so they understand the words. I've done that and watched other men do it. But logic? The syllogism? No. But they're dangerous because of the sophistication of their instinct. That's the way those without the Spirit of God are. And the devil himself, he's dangerous because his instinct, like an animal, is honed so finely. He's purely physical, purely soulish, as those men are. Their instinct is finely honed to fill their lusts. When a carnivorous animal looks at another animal, he only got two things in his head. Can I eat that? Second thing he's got in his head is, can that thing eat me? An instinct kicks in and he operates accordingly. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's beautiful to watch. But the wily bewrayer is like an animal. The wily bewrayer, Satan himself, bewray, that's a good word, look that one up. B-E-W-R-A-Y. I translate it that way. Wily bewrayer. He operates on instinct, so you must follow orders as Jesus Christ has given them to us in order to whip him. There's no other way to do it, friends. It's beyond sophistication that you understand, or me, or anybody would who doesn't live in the flesh. If your default position is the Spirit of God, and that's what a Christian is, his default position, he'll pop back to that when he doesn't know what else to do. Again, this is Brent Allen Winters, commonlawyer.com, www.commonlawyer.com. as I'd said. Did I say this? Well, I want to say it again, coming at you from the remote hinterlands of the Wabash River Valley, where the hogs, the frogs, and the dogs keep up a racket all night long.